Hi, it's Brandy, and today we're going to be exploring Google Forms. So the quickest way to get to Google Forms is to log into Google and go to Google Drive. Remember, when you're logging in and using your Google Apps for Education accounts, you need to make sure you're using your @rolandschools.org username and password. And then once you sign in with the correct email address and password, you'll be logged into Drive. And Google Forms is a great survey and data collection tool that you can use. There's also some great ways that you can use it for formative assessment with your students. To access a new form, you're going to click on New, and Forms doesn't show up right here, but you need to scroll down to More, and then it's that nice purple one right there, Google Forms. And it'll open a new tab with a new form. The first thing you always want to do is name your form. So I'll just name this demo form. And there are some different options up here. So these are your form settings. This first one says require Roland Unified School District login to view this form. This means that students, teachers, staff, whoever's accessing this form has to log in with their @rolandschools.org account in order to access the form. So this would be a feature if you were posting a link to the form on a website, but you didn't want outsiders to view it, then you would click this link. If you want anyone to be able to view your form, then you would make sure you would want this to be unchecked. And it says, this will make your form accessible outside of RUSD. Are you sure you wish to proceed? So that's an option. The second option for settings is automatically collect respondents RUSD district username. So this is your @Roland Schools username. If you check this box, then you have to require people to sign in to view the form. The third one is show progress bar at the bottom of form pages. If you have multiple pages, it'll show like 50% done, 75% done. Allow only one response per person, which requires your login, and then you can shuffle the question order. So that would be a good one if you were using this for formative assessment. Here you have the form title again. So what I typed here, demo form, also becomes the title here. And then you have question options here. So you can type in your question. Who was the first president? And right now it's set to be multiple choice. You can choose a multiple choice. You could also have it be text where students were typing in the answer. A paragraph if you wanted an extended response. Check boxes would be students could check more than one option. Choose from a list would be you're providing it and it makes a drop down of the choices. And then I'll explore scale and grid a little bit later. So let's just pick a text because we want students to actually type in their answer. You have the option of making this a required question, meaning students will not be able to submit their form if they have not answered this question. So if you click on that and then click done, you notice it has a red asterisk here. That means that it's a required question. If you want to add another item, you just click here where it says add item to this drop down. Here are some of your item choices, some advanced choices, and then some layout. You can always insert images, insert videos. It's a great way to get some multimedia interaction from students. Let's explore, the scale option. So if I wanted to scale, maybe I was going to have students use a Google form to rate a presentation from a classmate. So maybe this was the speaking. And then you wanted it to be a scale from 1 to 5. So 1 might be could not hear, and 5 would be excellent speaking voice. And again, I'll make that a required question. You just click done, and this is what your question looks like. Question title is speaking, could not hear, or excellent speaking voice. And as the person who's filling out the form, you would just click on where on the scale they fall. Another advanced item is a grid. So a grid is great if you want to have students pick multiple options. This is also a good one if you wanted parents to fill out something for parent conferences to schedule their time. So maybe the question is, which statements are true or false. So my row 1, in my rows, I might have different problems. So 5 times 5 equals 25. My next problem I might have 4 times 8 equals 40. And a third problem I could have would be 6 times 1 equals 7. And then my column headings are going to be either true or false. And so students are going to have to select one. And then we're going to require one response per row. That means that for each of these rows, each of these problems, they have to pick either true or false. And click done. So those are some of the kinds of questions that you can see. If you click up here where it says View Live Form, this is what your form looks like. So this question was our text question. Who was the first president? And they're going to type in their answer. For the speaker, they could just give it a 3. And which statements are true or false? So 5 times 5 equals 25 is true. 4 times 8 does not equal 40, so that's false. 6 times 1 does not equal 7, and that is false. And then you would have your students hit submit if this was all that was on there on the form. I'm just going to exit out. I don't need to really submit that. When you make a Google form, the great thing about it is that it automatically creates a spreadsheet of your responses. So you can just click there where it said View Responses, and here are all of your responses. It gives you a date and timestamp of when that form was submitted. Here are all of your questions, and then you'll see the answers that pop up there. There are some great data analysis tools that we'll explore in another video about how you can use the data from this form to really get into what the students know and how they're able to access the information. So going back to my form, that's pretty much the basics of a form. Down here, you can type in different messages on the confirmation page. So you can say, great job. You can allow them to submit another response, or you can not allow them. You can publish and show a link to the results if you wanted them to be able to see the results. And then you can also allow responders to edit after they submit. Those are all options that are available to you. So that's the basics of how to get into a form, how to access it, how to create questions. One last thing I'll just briefly touch on is you can change the theme if you are really into personalizing and customizing. You can change the look of the form. Google has some nice looking forms that you might want to choose from that just kind of change the header and the colors and backgrounds, and then you can even customize these even more by clicking on Customize. Forms are a great tool, like I said, for surveys, data collection. You can use them with your parents to collect information from them. In order to share the form with people, you're going to click on this blue Send Form. So you don't actually share the ability to edit. You share the actual form itself. You can send it to email. So if you were sending it to parents, you could email it to them. Or you can just click this link to share. You can copy it. You can embed it. You could post this on your website, on a haiku page, in Google Classroom. You can easily embed this anywhere so that your students can access forms. And when you're done, just go ahead and click done. And that's how you use forms. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me and have fun exploring forms.